Georgetown, Texas is one of those places that just looks picture perfect. If you Google it or look on Instagram, it's adorable. It's got this historic downtown square, small town charm. It's got farmers markets and festivals. The San Gabriel River runs through it, so you've got this beautiful water. But once you dig a little deeper, there are a few things that most people tend to wish they would have known before they moved here to Georgetown. Moving, it's stressful enough. So if I can help you skip a few of those, oh, why didn't someone tell me that moments, I'm happy to share with you today the things that you need to know. Before we dive in, I do have a quick question though. I would love to know where you are moving from if you're considering moving to Georgetown. Drop it in the comments for me if you don't mind. Maybe you're a Californian trying to escape the chaos, a Floridian who's had enough hurricanes and high insurance prices, or maybe you're just another Texan and you're looking for a vibe that fits you a little bit better. So I'm curious where y'all are from and where you're coming from because it always does surprise me. So please just drop it in the comments. I've been in the greater Austin area for over 15 years. And honestly, I've seen moves that went really smoothly, that really didn't. And I've had them myself. So I want to share the kinds of things people usually call me about a few months after they've settled in and tell me they wish they would have known ahead of time. So mistake number one about Georgetown would be believing that Georgetown is this quaint, sleepy, small town. It can be, and definitely does give off small town charming vibes. It is also sleepier than a large city. But the truth is also that Georgetown is booming. I helped a family move here last year, and during their visit, they fell in love with the Georgetown Square, the San Gabriel River, and the parks, and they ended up buying a home in the Wolf Ranch neighborhood. They really were looking for that quiet, slow-paced kind of vibe. Well, fast forward about 3 months, I ran into them at the coffee shop on the square, and they told me that they were a little frustrated with the constant construction noise in their neighborhood because they had bought in a new section of the neighborhood where they're still building. So let me show you something real quick. Georgetown has pockets. You want storybook small town, you need to stay close to the Georgetown Square. You want newer homes and amenities, then you're looking at master plan neighborhoods that are really active and vibrant, but they're not exactly slow paced. The question to ask yourself is, are you someone who wants that hallmark small town feel, or can you deal with a little more of the hustle and bustle as long as it's a really nice neighborhood? That's going to help you narrow down where you need to live in the Georgetown area, and you'll be a lot happier because of it. The second mistake that I see people make when they move to Georgetown is underestimating the commute to Austin. And I actually made this mistake myself when I moved to Georgetown. I was thinking it's not that big a deal. I'll just drive into Austin whenever I want. And I do drive into Austin quite often, but I do have to plan for that. On paper, Georgetown to downtown Austin shows like a 30-minute drive. If you use Google Maps and you try to figure out drive times, it really doesn't seem too terrible. But if you've ever driven on I-5 during rush hour, you'll know you cannot count on those estimates. Take it from someone who lives here, me. When you decide to go into Austin, the time of day or evening will massively affect your drive time. Let me pull up a quick example here for you. If you were to drive into Austin from Georgetown and you leave at 6:30 a.m., you might glide in there at about 35 minutes. But if you leave at 7:30 a.m., you're probably looking at an hour plus for your commute. Huge difference. One of my clients who relocated here from Houston was really not very concerned about traffic because I think we all know in Texas that Houston traffic is awful. It's no joke. So she thought, well, it's not going to be that bad. I'm used to Houston traffic. But she did not realize how much Georgetown and really Central Texas in general relies on cars and commuting. There's not really public transportation that you're going to jump on a commuter train to get into Austin or hop on a bus to get into Austin. It just doesn't exist. You're going to be driving. So if you're commuting to Austin daily, you're really going to need to strategize if you live in Georgetown. The good news is you can. There are great neighborhoods that are closer to the southern edge of Georgetown, which is going to get you closer to Round Rock, closer to Austin. If you have a flexible work schedule that allows you to kind of dodge those peak traffic driving times, that's really going to be a game changer for you. You'll be able to enjoy that charming Georgetown life and then the occasional trip into Austin without sacrificing your mental health because of it. Okay, mistake number 3 is not paying attention to the property taxes. Texas can really shock you with its property taxes. I had a buyer who moved here from Arizona in the spring who was really thrilled that in Texas, there's no state income tax. But when we started looking at homes, they were shocked by the property tax bills and how much more their monthly payment was going to be because of the property taxes. Let's run some numbers together. On a $450,000 home, you're looking at $10,000 to $12,000 a year in property taxes. So that's $800 to $1,000 tacked onto your monthly payment that is going just to taxes. And here's the kicker. Tax rates are not the same across Georgetown. So you can have one neighborhood with a high tax rate, one neighborhood with a low tax rate, and you may not know the difference. Older neighborhoods near the square, they're probably going to have that lower tax rate, more like 1.8%. While those new neighborhoods and those new homes in a municipal utility district, they can hit the high end 2.5, maybe 2.6% for property taxes. So it's one of those expenses that can really shift your entire budget for buying a home and maybe even shift your home price range if you're not careful. The way to avoid being surprised by this is to connect with a trusted local mortgage lender ahead of time before you house hunt, because they can run some payment scenarios for you based on the neighborhoods and the areas that you like, and they're going to estimate those property taxes for you and give you an accurate estimate of what your house payment might be. Mistake number 4 that I see people making in Georgetown is missing out on the new construction deals. So builders in Georgetown, they are hustling right now. They are building. Builder inventory is at 2 times its typical level. There are lots of new homes ready to move into that are available. Just last month, I worked with a couple who bought a builder home, got a rate buy down into the 4s, $15,000 in closing costs covered, and I was able to also actually negotiate another $60,000 off the asking price on a brand new home in Santa Rita Ranch. The crazy thing is Zillow didn't even show that that home was for sale or available. Let me show you why. Builders don't typically update their public listings, and most builders don't list their inventory in the MLS, which is where Zillow, Realtor.com, all those big sites pull their data from. So if you just Google new homes available in Georgetown, Texas, you are not going to find all of the inventory. You're just going to find a fraction. As a realtor, I have access to a builder database that shows every quick move-in home available in the Georgetown area. And I promise you, there are hundreds that you will never see online. So if you're open to new construction, don't trust what you just see on the big websites, because there are deals sitting out there unclaimed because people don't even know they exist. So here's another question for you that I'm curious about. Would you rather have a brand new home with all of those brand new perks, or do you like the character of old homes, even if it needs a little bit of work? Drop your pick in the comments. I would love to hear what you guys think. Okay, the final mistake I want to talk about that people make when moving to Georgetown is assuming that you can just figure out your temporary housing a little bit later. If you're planning to rent an Airbnb for a few months while you house hunt, you and about 100 other people are doing the same thing. Short-term rentals in Georgetown are limited. I had a family from Dallas last year who sold their current home in Dallas, thought they'd find a short-term rental for about 3 months while they just came and looked around. And after scrambling to find a short-term rental for weeks, they ended up in a 6-month apartment lease that they really didn't want because there were no other options. If you're planning to just figure it out later, you might end up getting stuck paying for a place that you really don't love, or commuting in from a nearby town while you're doing your home search. So what's the solution? What can you do about this? Well, there's not really a great answer here, and it's just the reality of relocating. So try to secure short-term housing early if you can. And you may just need to shift your mindset and accept that you're going to have to rent an apartment short term. Remind yourself it's just temporary, and then brace yourself for that tight rental market. Most homes for rent in this Georgetown area are going to want 12-month leases or longer. So renting a home short term, you're going to be stuck with Airbnb, VRBO, those sites, and there just aren't a lot of options. All right, let's do a quick recap of what I've talked about. Here are the mistakes that are common when people relocate to Georgetown, Texas. The first one is assuming that all of Georgetown is this quiet, small, sleepy town. The second one, underestimating the commute into Austin. Don't do it. The third one is underestimating property taxes. The fourth one is missing out on builder inventory and those builder incentives because Zillow is not giving you the full story. And the fifth one is not having a solid plan for your short-term housing. If you're thinking about moving to Georgetown and you want to dodge these headaches and you want the real scoop, I've opened up some time for some free Zoom calls. I can walk through your questions, figure out which neighborhoods are actually going to fit your lifestyle. And I'll tell you what's really going on in the market right now. I've been a realtor for 25 years. Also, if you want to just start browsing homes for sale in Georgetown, I've got a link below that'll take you straight to current listings. No ads, no spam, just a direct search. And I've got the link below to book a quick call with me so you can get your questions answered. If you found this video helpful, please hit like and subscribe for more Georgetown insights. I try to get you a new video at least once a week. And don't forget to drop your questions in the comments. I do read and answer every single one. Thanks for watching. Take care.